Hello, everyone. I am AJ Smith with the Inspire Conference staff. I am thrilled that Inspire Conference is coming up here in San Antonio, Texas, January 28th through the 30th. Today, we are interviewing Ashleigh, and Ashleigh is speaking about vision at our Inspire Conference. So, Ashleigh, would you be willing to introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about the heart behind your business and what it is you do?
Absolutely. So I'm Ashleigh Paragoy, and my business actually, I'm a business coach now, business and marketing coach, and it honestly transpired after, or actually being unplanned completely. I started a marketing company several years ago, and it took off. It did really well. And then I started to have women ask me, like, can you teach me how to do this? Can you help me scale my business? How do you do these things? And one thing literally led to another. And now I've, for the last almost 2 years, I've been primarily coaching women, and I've brought in the marketing service aspect under that same umbrella. And so it's worked really well. I've got two women on my team, so I've kept that small. And then I've got one-on-one coaching, I've got group coaching, and I have memberships and courses. So yeah, it's done really well. And again, never expected it to happen like that. Never was in the plan, but here we are.
Yeah, that's fabulous. It's always so interesting how people's journey kind of takes them around in different spots along their lives, like add things that they're like, oh, I didn't think I'd use that again, but here we are,
Right.
you know,
Yes. Yep.
picking it right back up. And at our conference, you're going to be speaking about vision. And I know vision is such like a word we use, like intentional and mission, but like,
Yep.
what are some misconceptions that people might believe about the word vision, or how it's used
Mhm.
in business that you kind of see and come across?
Yeah. I would say having goals that you expect to go just as planned.
Mm,
You want to have a goal. You want to have obviously something to reach for. But the thing about vision is to have also like smaller milestones that you want to reach. So if you have a big goal, that's awesome. But like break it down into smaller segments of, okay, I'm going to reach this goal, and then it's going to lead to this goal. And then you're always going to be kind of also fine tuning that goal. If I use myself as an example, I can honestly, heartfully say that I've always had something in my heart that always wanted to help women. I didn't know how. I didn't know in what capacity. I didn't know what it was exactly. But I've always had that kind of like, there's something more. There's something more that I can be doing, and like that purpose, right?
yeah.
Well, when I started the business of marketing, like that's what I did because I loved marketing and I felt like there was a strong need for it, which there was. But didn't really just say, oh, I'm just going to help women. And now that I'm helping women actually start their businesses or scale their businesses, like that's been like hugely rewarding, and a lot of fun too. So I think, when it comes down to vision, it's always about like thinking outside the box, thinking about like, yes, you might have a goal for your business of, selling X amount or doing X amount. Well, what does that really look like? What does your life
Mm,
look like? What does that feel like? And that's really like the driving force behind a true vision that's going to, come back to you in a positive way. Income, yes, is going to be kind of a factor of it, but really looking and thinking outside the box, I think is huge.
that's really smart, especially like as we show up for others, our business grows in that way. Like if we're just in it for ourselves, like that doesn't have that
100%.
impact value. Yeah. And
100%.
I love what you said about, and I was listening to Rachel Hollis today, and she was talking about like a to-do list versus a results list. And so it
Right.
sounds like when you're making your vision, like not just like, oh, I did X, I did Y, I did Z, cool. But like, how does this impact your life? How does this change how people are moving through the world? Like, oh, I love this. It feels like the soul of your business. So,
Right.
oh, that's just beautiful. Thank you for sharing
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I know for some people coming out at Inspire Conference, they are moving their business in a new way, trying to up level or shift or pivot. I'm curious, was there a time in your business that you felt like you kind of had to like move or like turn sides or kind of like be like,
Mhm.
okay, where do I want to go from here? And what would Ashleigh now say to Ashleigh then?
Um, the Ashleigh now would have, I think I wouldn't have changed a thing, but here's my strength is being able to pivot and change and go with the flow. And I
Nice.
realized that a lot of people have these blocks that they reach in their business, or they don't, they're scared to take a risk, or
Mhm.
they're scared because everything's not laid out just as planned, or they get discouraged when something that they plan to go really well doesn't.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing that I hope to like instill in my kids, or even in, the people that I get to work with, is that like you can never plan for everything.
Mhm.
Um, but it kind of goes back to the vision. As long as the ultimate vision is fulfilled, which if I look back now, like my vision is being fulfilled because
Mm.
I go back to like always wanting to help other women,
Yeah.
but I could not have thought about the exact way that was going to happen. I just kept charging along. And then things just, I think having that vision, like it, like maybe this manifestation thing, I don't know, but definitely something that always kept me moving forward and always felt right. Okay, I'm going to do this because this feels right. And it's moving towards that vision that I ultimately have.
Hmm. Yeah. I always think that the manifestation idea is like your idea plus work behind it, plus like
Right.
reasonable steps. You know what I mean? Like when you put that all together,
100%.
like, yes, things are
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. You
And
can't just sit around and like imagine it and it's just going to magically happen. But
yeah,
as
that would be
long as you
lovely.
have, right. I know. But as long as you are working towards that, I think it ultimately comes together, in a way that maybe, it's a journey that you didn't plan to go down exactly that direction,
Yeah.
but ultimately it evolves.
Oh, that's so true. So throughout the conference, people are going to have a chance to interact with you and all the mentors, which is great through our mentor luncheon, our speed night, and then Ashley's also going to be there all week, friends. So if you want to like be like, hey, I see you in the hall. I had this. You talked about this, but how would this apply here? What would you suggest that people ask you in relation to their business?
Um, Pretty much anything marketing, anything marketing. That's my jam. That's my main component. So while I am a business coach by title at this point, I also do have a marketing company, and I think the difference in what I bring to the table, even as a business coach, is my 17 years of marketing experience. And so it's this combination of, yes, I can give you direction on how you can scale or how you can grow or how you can launch your business, what things are the most important. But it's all ultimately comes down to marketing. There's marketing and there's sales. And um, my thing is like all the things that are changing with marketing, and I keep up to speed on those things. So I always see people that are like asking questions about, well, why isn't this working anymore? And why isn't that working anymore? Or
Yeah.
why has this changed? And they're so frustrated. Um, so I'm always kind of quick to chime in and help them and guide them and give them some insight or give them a quick tip. And that's what I do on my Facebook group. I have a Facebook group of almost 2,000 women, and
Awesome.
I'm on there several times a week, and I'm just sharing tips, or doing a weekly challenge, or doing little fun giveaways. Like this week I did a email growth list challenge all week, so I just shared
Cool.
little tips that would like kind of get their list going, because I think people get so deterred about, oh, I only have, this many followers. I don't have anybody on my
Mhm.
email list. And I always have
Yeah.
to remind them that everybody starts off at zero. So
Yeah.
I don't want that to discourage them. Like the person that they're looking up to and comparing themselves to, they started off at zero. So it's like, don't let
Yeah.
that discourage you and just keep moving.
Oh, I love that. It's so hard though sometimes when things become like, you're so up close to it, you're like, I don't even know where to start, that we get paralyzed by like indecision, and like one thing doesn't work and it just feels like all the doors are shutting like one right after another, Alice in Wonderland style. What do I do next? So I
But you have
love
to
that.
find I think that it's important to find reason behind the door shutting and look at it as like a different door opening for you.
Oh,
You know,
that's good.
it's that mentality, and that it totally holds people back. Um, so short story, like the thing
Yeah.
that drove me to start my marketing company was my ex-husband had actually passed away from a spider bite. And
What?
yeah,
That's
so it,
terrifying.
yeah,
I
he
am
was
so
30.
sorry.
Yeah, well, he was 35, and I think that what really did it for me was our son was 7 at the time, and that in itself was like, okay, I've got to show up as the only parent for this kid. You know,
Yeah.
he's super important, and so I knew I had to have flexibility, and I think that too was like a rude awakening. Like life is so short, and you know, you just it's just go for it. Just go for
Yeah.
it, do it, and you can expect the unexpected. It's always going to happen.
That's true.
So taught me a lesson for sure, and then I think it just ultimately pushed me to you know, just say no to the 8 to 5 and go for it. And again, it's like totally like, I mean, looking back now, obviously it was awful thing to go through. But then I've like pulled in like the positives behind it, and that reasoning behind
Mm.
whatever was meant to be.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
To wrap us up today, I'd love if you'd share what has you inspired lately?
Um, the the main thing that has me inspired in my business is women who are so excited when they've hit their income goals, or
Mm.
they've launched a product that took them forever. Just because I had a conversation with a new client last week, and in a 2-hour span, we went over more than like she said she could have done in a year. She'd been sitting on it since 2018.
Wow.
And finally, like we mapped out all of these things, and she's like, oh my gosh, like now it's like I feel like I can move forward. And it was
Yeah.
just having somebody else, I think, just say, yes, that's a good idea. And like,
Mm.
let's make this tangible so that you're not so overwhelmed with just the thought process. So
That's
I
really
think
helpful.
that it's seeing women like come into their own and not be afraid to just put themselves out there. Because there's so much talent. It's like unheard of, like the talent that's out there. It's like, why are you not like sharing this with everybody?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. We need more women and more men, more everybody just
Right.
standing tall, taking up space, like sharing their gifts that they were like given and like learned, and just like,
Mhm.
man, if we had fully embodied people walking around,
Yes.
running businesses, connected mind, heart, body, soul, whole thing,
Yep.
it'd be a
Yep.
game changer.
Yes. 100%.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Ashleigh, for joining us today. Friends, if you are excited about Ashleigh, like I am, that she's coming, sharing about vision, getting you pumped up, taking your business to the next level, come join us at Inspire Conference 2020 here in San Antonio, Texas, January 28th through the 30th. We will see you then.